For Chapter 3, Managing Ethics and Diversity, the main thing I found valuable was how ethics isn't just about following the law, it's about how decisions affect other people and groups. One concept that stood out to me was ethical dilemmas. The chapter explains that managers often have to choose between options where there is no perfect answer, and someone may be harmed no matter what. I thought this was important because it shows that ethics is about judgment, not just rules, and that different people can see the same situation very differently. Another valuable point was the difference between ethics and the law. Just because something is legal doesn't always mean it's ethical, and ethics can change over time. The example in the chapter showed how laws evolve as society values change, which helped me understand why managers need to think beyond just legal compliance. The stakeholder model was also really important to me. Managers don't make decisions that affect just one group. Their choices impact employees, customers, stockholders, suppliers, and even the community and society. This made it clear that ethical decision making requires balancing multiple interests, not just maximizing profit. I also found the ethical decision rules helpful, especially the utilization rule, moral rights rule, justice rule, and practical rule. These give managers a way to slow down and think through the consequences, fairness, and public perception of their decisions. Overall, this chapter helped me understand that ethical behavior builds trust, protects reputation, and creates long-term success. Managing ethics and diversity isn't optional, it's a core responsibility of effective leadership.
The chapter also points out that just because something is legal doesn't always make it ethical. Laws are shaped by society's belief at the time, but as those beliefs change, so do the laws. There used to be laws most of us today would consider completely unfair and wrong, like laws against interracial marriage or those allowing slavery. This shows how both laws and ethics can evolve. Our standards for what's right and wrong aren't set in stone. Things like marijuana use or gun ownership views and laws on those issues have changed a lot, even in just the past few decades. Social movements and protests can help highlight when it's time to rethink what's ethical and which rules need updating. Another big point is the importance of diversity in the workplace. It's not just about following rules against discrimination. It's actively making sure everyone feels included and valued. Teams made up of people with different backgrounds and ideas are proven to be more creative and better at problem solving. Managers need to make sure everyone is getting a fair shot and feels respected, no matter their differences. There are plenty of real-world examples of what happens when companies ignore ethics. Even if they don't break any laws, sometimes public outrage or activism leads to change. It shows that businesses have to stay aware of what society expects, not just what's written in the laws.
One of the hardest ethical dilemmas managers face is working with friends. It sounds great at first, but that's where things get a little complicated. An ethical dilemma happens when you have to choose between two options, and neither one feels completely right. Personal relationships can interfere with professional judgment, which creates a conflict of interest. For example, imagine your friend is on your team and they start missing deadlines or bending the rules a little bit. As a manager, you have to decide whether to treat them the same as everyone else or give them the extra slack because of your friendship. From an ethical perspective, that's a fairness issue. When employees are held to different standards, their trust breaks down, even if the favoritism isn't intentional. In ethics, perception matters just as much as intent. Your team is always watching how decisions are made, and those deceptions shape the ethical climate of the workplace. This is where ethical leadership comes in. Managers set expectations through their actions, not just company policies or mission statements. When managers avoid tough conversations with friends, it usually damages both the relationship and the team's morale. A good way to think through these situations is to ask yourself a few simple questions. Would I make the same decision if this person wasn't my friend? Could I explain this decision openly to my entire team? And does the decision align with organizational standards and values? Working with friends isn't unethical by itself. The ethical issue comes from letting personal loyalty override fairness and professional responsibility. In management, doing what's comfortable isn't always what's ethical, and the best leaders are the ones who can separate the two.